Liberty Walk is a aftermarket performance parts company, or rather body kit company, based out of Japan. And so there's also Rocket Bunny and Pandem, which I think is even more well known than Liberty Walk, because they do like your 350Zs, Scion FRS, Miata, all sorts of cars. So basically Rocket Bunny is like the tuner cars, Liberty Walk's exotics. And then Wataru Kato, he's the founder and owner of Liberty Walk. Back then, I wasn't really doing much business stuff. I'd have a car in the show every year and was just kind of having fun with it. So when we'd go, it'd be me and my dad just kind of hanging out for the week. So we'd always go check out new stuff. And I was like, Dad, you gotta go see these Liberty Walk cars. They're unbelievable. And they have a Murcielago there. Kind of rewinding. The best way to kind of explain my dad's relationship with cars is kind of like your average car guy, let's say. So he's not doing like engine swaps in his garage or anything crazy like that, not like doing any major welding, but he loves cars, loves to go to car shows, and has had some really cool cars throughout the years. So he had super old school air-cooled Porsche back in the day. That's kind of what he drove back and forth from work, which is pretty badass. When we came down to Arizona when I was like 8 years old, he ended up getting a Ferrari 360 Spider, black with tan interior. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of it, but that car was super rad. He ended up trading that in for a Lamborghini Murcielago. When that first came out, just really was enjoying it. He'd smoke cigars in it. It was just kind of his car to bring to the golf course or whatever and bring me to school in back in the day. So we had a lot of fun in that car. Kind of fast forwarding back to the SEMA show. Don't remember what car I had in the show that year. I had a car in the show and we were kind of just walking around checking stuff out. And so I was like, hey, let's go check out this crazy Murcielago and these wide body cars at the Liberty Walks. Keep in mind, I'd never seen them before. This is my first exposure to anyone from Liberty Walk. And we're kind of looking at the Murcielago and Tosh comes over, which is Wataru Kato's kind of right-hand man. Pretty much like, hey, what's up guys? And we're like, oh, we're just checking out this Murcielago. It's unbelievable. We said, yeah, we have a Murcielago. Tosh was like, oh, really? And he's like, that's pretty cool. He's like, do you want to meet Kato? Honestly, I didn't even really know who Kato was, but when he said that, I understood. Obviously, he was probably the owner of Liberty Walk. And so I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, that would be pretty rad. So he brings us over to meet Kato. So now it's my dad, myself, Kato, and Tosh in a little circle. Neither me or my dad speak any Japanese. We can't understand any of it. Kato speaks extremely limited English. You can't really have a conversation with them in the English language. Tosh speaks great English and is obviously from Japan and fluent in Japanese. They introduce us. Tosh says they have a Murcielago. Kato looks at me and he's like, you have a Murcielago? And I was like, yeah. And then my dad goes like this, like the money sign, and Kato just died laughing. He thought it was so funny, basically saying, I had this Murcielago, but my dad paid for it. And that was kind of the funny joke. So Kato goes on to tell us how he has a son named Yuma. And Yuma is similar age to me, similar upbringing. And the thing that Kato noticed, he's someone who's really family-oriented and super passionate. So he was able to catch on really quick that my dad and I were best friends and had a really special relationship. He has that same relationship with his son, Yuma. And our dads are similar ages. Me and Yuma are similar ages. We're from these completely different cultures. I literally get chills talking about it. It was just so crazy because he noticed this and he kind of looks at my dad and I after telling us about his son and just goes like this. If you guys aren't understanding what I'm saying, there was just this crazy non-spoken connection that we had with Kato. After that, we were just blown away. Me and my dad look at each other and we're like, this is crazy. I mean, we've barely spoken, but we just feel like we've bonded further than we have with some friends. Kato went on to say, hey, we made 20 of these Liberty Walk kits. This was our only limited edition body kit. It was the first wide body kit for Liberty Walk. This is a super special car. We'd like to make you a 21st, 21 of 20 Liberty Walk body kit for your Murcielago. Furthermore, he says, hey, we're gonna throw in, there was a mini Lambo, black mini Lambo. It was matte black at the time. And he's like, we'll give you this as well as a gift. And we'll give you free wheels. And we were just like, what is going on? It was way more money than we planned on spending, which was zero. And it's, if you guys don't know, Liberty Walk kits are very, very expensive. But my dad and I were like, this is an absolute honor. Thank you so much. Let us please think about it. We'll come and talk to you later today. I remember walking around the show, my dad and I, and we were just like, this is so wild. What the heck just happened? I feel like we have to do it, but it's so much money. Basically, after a couple hours of that, we decided, we're like, we have to do this. This is too cool. This is one of those once in a lifetime things. So we ended up going back to Liberty Walk, back to Kato and Tosh, and we're like, all right, let's do it. Sign the papers. kind of work through all the details. One of the really cool things about it was most of the Liberty Walk kits are built when you order them, especially with the limited kit, because they had only made 20 and the 20 had already been sold to basically Kato and his friends, but they keep the molds just in case people break parts. So they were gonna reproduce this kit for us. And the cool thing was Kato was like, hey, I'm gonna pick my favorite wing, my favorite front splitters, favorite exhaust, favorite rear bumper, because they had some different variations from the non-wide body kit as well as the wide body kit. He's like, I'm gonna put together my favorite pieces from each part of the kit, and that'll be the kit you get. And I was like, all right, I'm freaking down, that sounds awesome. And then he's like, all right, well, here's the mini Lambo, so just take this. If you guys haven't been to the SEMA show, there's like hundreds of thousands of people there. There's nowhere to set your stuff down, and you're usually miles away from your hotel or your car. So now I'm like, I have this mini Lamborghini and everyone's looking at me like I stole it or something, because they're like, how the hell did you get this wide body Lambo? It was just ridiculous. Like the whole day, it was extremely wild. But I do credit a lot of kind of what's happened with Haugen Racing, the cars, and the other connections I've made through this to that introduction that Tosh made and the relationship that Kato formed with us. Going forward, Kato ended up inviting me out to Tokyo Auto Salon. We ended up going to Kato's house, seeing some of his personal car collection. I had dinner with them like every night, and so he actually brought me and a couple other of their friends out to a Hostess club, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically a bar where they have girls that drink with you. It's not anything like sex-related. Tidbit as to why these exist. In the past, there's been issues with basically how men and women interact in Japan. There's like the split. A lot of times they're raised separately, go to schools separately, and they don't know how to talk to each other. And so then growing up, a lot of these men, they want to talk to women but have no idea how, so they invented these hostess clubs where they can basically go talk to girls and drink with them. And that's all it is. There's not, I mean, I'm sure in some really seedy parts more things happen, but really it is just to kind of hang out and have drinks. And so Tosh ended up bringing me to one of those, and we just kind of sat and had drinks all the time. And one of the craziest parts I'll never forget was, again, I've said this, I don't speak any Japanese or understand it. And so we are in Japan at a Japanese hostess club. The hostesses don't speak any English there either. I had my phone out and I pulled up Google Translate, and me and one of the hostesses, extremely weird and awkward, but like super fun actually. That I just kind of wanted to add that in. But that pretty much wraps it up. That's how I met Kato. I think shaped my automotive career, and going forward have become pretty much like family to us in the car community. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Check out some of our other story time videos. We also do a bunch of automotive parody and how to drift videos, so check all those out. Leave us some comments, leave us some feedback. Check out our merch if you like the air conditioning super high and you get warm. These sweatshirts are still great for that. They are all weather hoodies. We'll see you guys in a couple days.